at the end of the day, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could, or I really poured into me, and
Hmm.
I got better today. Even if it's just 1% better, even if
Yeah.
you had an extreme failure, maybe you had a big mistake, if you're able to learn something from that, okay, we got better.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Going there. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Love a countdown.
Welcome, welcome. Mandy loves a good
I
countdown
love a
as we're
countdown.
recording. Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Business Live. We are here today. Mandy, what's new?
Well, Amani, we made a meal this weekend for our friends. Again, Scoot's
Ooh,
trying to perfect his braised fish, his braised white fish with the beans and the broth, and it was good. Full disclosure, it wasn't the best. He's made it better. So we're just learning. We're trying to perfect this recipe. I make the squash casserole. He makes the braised fish and this like the broth is so good. It's got a Calabrian peppers in it and it's got really flavorful, but it wasn't the best. It was edible and delicious, but it wasn't his best. I'll say that.
okay,
Yeah.
wasn't. It's funny you mention that because on my bingo card, I do have an item which says learn. Where does it say here? It says, where does it say here? Learn how to cook a new dish.
Oh, do
So,
you like
so I,
fish?
Nah, mostly salmon. So I'm gonna stay away from fish.
Okay,
But I know
okay.
it's good for you. But I'm gonna stay away from fish. But Scoot and his edible braised fish is inspiring me to get back in the lab and
Yeah.
learn a new dish.
Well, you know what I just learned how to make recently was chicken piccata, and it's a very common
Oh,
dish. So I'm happy to share
yeah.
my recipe with you because
Okay.
Scoot's perfecting his thing, but I'm
Yeah.
perfecting a chicken piccata so much so that I stuffed it. I've been stuffing
Oh,
it with like provolone and mortadella. So
ooh.
yeah,
Please share the
okay, I'll
recipe.
share
Okay, I
that.
like that.
Yeah, no
I like
problem.
that.
What about you?
Cool.
What's happening in your week?
What in my week?
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy this week. I think you just been trying to rest because now we're about a month from school being done,
Hmm.
and usually like the the school. I love this break because I get like a 2 or 3 month break, and I'm pretty tired once the semester is over.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read some more nonfiction books,
Good.
so if you have any recommendations, let me
I
know.
do.
And that's pretty much all for me this week. Yeah, because I got a trip coming up soon, so I'm just trying to kind of rest. And then camp is coming up at the end of
Oh,
July.
that's right. Your fun camp. Oh, I love that. That's
Yes,
cool. That's
yes.
cool.
All
Should we
right.
get to
Who
our
do we have
guests?
the pleasure of speaking to today?
Well,
Yes.
we've got a rock star with us. She went from being a
Okay.
college athlete to
Mhm.
accelerating the mindset of other star high school and college athletes. She is the founder of Winning Edge Coaching. Welcome to the show, Morgan Brons.
Okay, so Morgan is appearing on our screen as we speak. We'll give you a round of applause. There we go.
Hi, Morgan. Welcome. It's really good to see you.
Hello, thank you. I'm so excited to be on here.
Yes, we are excited to have you. As a fellow former college athlete, I have to ask you, what is your most memorable game you've ever had in as a basketball player, particularly either, it could be Ohio State or your second stop, let us know.
Mm.
Or not
Yes,
Ohio State, Iowa State, excuse me. Yeah.
Iowa State. Yes,
Yes,
I was
yes,
trying to
yes.
make the, the
Yeah, no, no, no.
I
connection
just
Iowa
where
got
you're
State. Yeah.
going.
excited. I'm like, wait, I thought I would have known if it was
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah. No, no, Iowa State. Go ahead.
Yes. So the most memorable, it's an easy one. There's a lot of memorable ones, but the most memorable was my senior year. So my final year at Iowa State, my team won the Big 12 championship game. We beat Texas, and it was just kind of we were the underdogs. We had experienced a lot of injury that year and just trying to navigate our way, and just all the stars aligned that game, and just things were flowing and you could feel the energy. We were in Missouri, Kansas City,
Hmm.
and a lot of our fans traveled with us, and so it was so fun. And by the end of it, it was just so special to be on the court with my team, with the girls, and holding the trophy and cutting down the net. It's everything you dream of as a athlete. So
Yeah.
that's definitely the top.
Okay. We love it. We love it. When you think back, because you redshirted your freshman year,
I did.
how did that prepare you for better success throughout the rest of your college career?
That's a great question. So I love telling this story because it's so much about who I am and what I do now. So my redshirt experience, when I went up to the coaches and they said, we think you should redshirt, like this is going to be the best for you, I was devastated.
Yeah.
It just broke me. Because when you think of redshirting, you think of, I'm not good enough to play right now. And I worked so hard in high school to, okay, I'm going to Iowa State, big Power 5 conference. And then it was like, oh, well, what do I do now? I'm redshirt. Like I redshirted. And I had to experience a huge mindset shift. And that is essentially one of the lessons. It was a really hard lesson, but one of the lessons I had to learn. And the problem that I help athletes solve today is battling through those mental roadblocks, those mental barriers, kind of being confident and feeling good with yourself. So I had to have that mindset shift and say, okay, I'm going to work the hardest, I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm going to be ready to go for the next 4 years of my collegiate experience. And it was not easy. I wanted to be on the court so bad, but I really was able to say, okay, I need to get stronger. I need to get a little bit smarter with what I'm doing. I learned from the seniors. I felt like I was just a sponge, maybe a shadow to all the seniors. I was just listening and watching and learning so that when the moment arose, I was ready for that.
What do you feel? Because you said mindset shift. So what's a common mindset shift that you experienced as an athlete, but you also see happening like in your business world and kind of in the clients that you're working with now? What would be like one of the most similar mindset shifts you have to work on?
I would say extreme doubt. And I think anyone in any field, in any job position experiences this at some point, the doubt and the lack of belief in yourself and your own capabilities and skills. So my redshirt freshman year, I had to keep reminding myself, okay, I did get a scholarship for a reason. I'm here for a reason. They want me. Whereas at the beginning, when I learned, okay, I'm redshirting, my mind went to, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be here. I'm letting down the fans, my teammates, my coaches, myself. And I see that a lot in the young athletes I work with now. One of the first things we talk about is reminding yourself, I am a good athlete. And what is the evidence that you've had working up to that point of like, what are your successes and your wins that you've already accomplished to show your resilience?
Yeah. Now in college, were you a 4 or a 5 or a 3? Excuse me. Small forward, Mandi, power forward, center.
Okay, thank you. Mandi. I was wondering what the rating system was.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, I was a 5, 4 or 5, depending on what teammates were in with me.
Got it. Okay, good. So how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Okay, yeah, 6'3".
I'm 6'3", so I'm tall, but certainly not the tallest. I was kind of an undersized center, but I was really strong. So I like to push people around.
Okay, we like that.
Don't mess with Morgan.
Over to you, Mandi. Yes, over to you, Mandi.
Well, what I like about what you're saying is like you redshirted and you were devastated, but you stayed on the team, because we interviewed Megan Riley a couple months ago, and she went, she got brought back in, and she was like, why would you take me? And she just didn't think she was good enough. So she didn't play. And that's like a regret she has, where she's like, they asked me back, but I didn't think I was good enough. And so I think like this is so common in business and in sports of like, people are actually, they're redshirting you. That actually does mean you're good enough to some sense. Like, you didn't get cut, they weren't like sayonara, like you don't have a scholarship anymore. It was just, they're putting you in a different phase, and they do think you'll be ready at some point. So I like that we're talking about all these different like mindset things. This plays into like, what is Winning Edge? Like, what is Winning Edge, your company, and why did you start it?
So after my collegiate experience, all my years, I played for a total of 6 years of college basketball. So after that, I did some internal self-reflection, looking in the mirror. How were those 6 years? How did those shape me? How did those turn me into who I am now and the qualities and characteristics I have? And one of the biggest components was the way I believe in myself and the way I think about myself. And I saw that in every aspect of my life, from academics, from sports to personal relationships. And so I knew that that was a game-changing moment in my athletic career. And so the conversation of mental performance isn't talked about a lot. There's talked about strength and conditioning and providing more in your sport, but it's not talked about that mindset.
Hey, friends. How many times have you read a boring business book that tells you about the same tactics over and over and over again? Get comfortable at being uncomfortable. Don't forget to manage your time. All these silly things that we know, right? When you read my book, Sales Tales, The Hustle, Humor, and Lessons of a Life in Sales, I promise you, there's nothing boring about it. It goes in the order of a standard sale, from prospecting all the way through asking for the sale. And it's hilarious stories and statistics that will help you grow your business, relate to the actual business of being an entrepreneur or a salesperson, and it will give you practical, tactical, digestible snacks that you can apply immediately after reading. So head over to wherever you buy your books and look for Mandi Graziano, Sales Tales, The Hustle, Humor, and Lessons from a Life in Sales. Can't wait to hear what you think. With the getting involved, like at what point do you get involved in the coaching process? Like, do the students know they need it? Do their parents know they need it? Like, how do you get involved with the coaching process?
Yes. I would say it kind of depends on the situation of the athlete, the parent. So I work with collegiate athlete and high school athletes. And for those high school athletes, it's a lot of the parent seeing their athlete struggling through this. And I have to put myself back in the lens of a high school athlete. I didn't know about mental performance. I didn't know what this was. And so those parents are crucial in seeing, I see my athlete, she's getting in her own way. She's, really lacking that confidence, really in that negative self-talk mindset. What is a tool or resource that I can give her? And then those collegiate athletes, a little bit more self-aware of themselves and what's going on. And am I doing well? Am I struggling? And so I would say it's parents / athletes. I also work with teams. So coaches see, as a coach, you can see where your athletes are struggling, not struggling. You see a whole big picture. And so I also work with teams.
That's awesome. How do you see the difference? Like, you've got a coach, right? There's the actual coach of the team, but then and who's also responsible, not just for like the technical strategy of it all, but also a lot of mindset coaching as well. But then you have these outside resources like you that have an expertise in this that come in. So how do you draw that line between like, listen, I don't want to be the coach. That's a job I don't need or I don't want. I'm really focused on this. Like, how do you ease the coach to let them know like you're an actual partner to them? And how do you draw that line between what the coach is doing versus how you're helping them?
Absolutely. Support. I am in a supporting role. and I'm here to fill the gaps where gaps are needed. Every team's going to be different. Every individual athlete I talk to is going to be different. So it's my challenge as a mental performance coach to go in there and say, where are we needing assistance? Where can I provide value, provide resource? I'm not here to change anything. I tell athletes from the very beginning, I don't determine playing time. I don't determine if like relationships with coaches or whatever that is. I'm here to support. I'm a tool. I'm a resource. I'm here to help as I need to. And I think having a great relationship with the athlete is number one, whether it's in a team setting, in a small group, or an individual setting, is building that relationship, building that trust. And from my experience, being able to say, I know what you're going through. Here's a tool or resource that you can utilize to help yourself.
That's awesome.
When you're working with people, and think back to either athletes or professionals, what are some indicators that you know they're going to be resilient enough to kind of stick with it? Like, what are some, how do you tell, okay, I know they've got it in them and they're going to stick with it, compared to people who might subscribe to the coaching but then give up quickly?
Yeah, it's when I see an athlete investing in themselves, not just on the call. They're inquiring about things outside of our individual call. They're looking for more resources. Hey, what's a good book I can be reading? They're doing the homework that I'm giving them throughout the week of saying, hey, try this mental reset strategy. Tell me what you think. How'd it go? It's the athletes that can see the bigger picture, see long term, and say, this isn't going to help me maybe right this second, but it's going to help me down the line to be a better athlete and have that winning edge over your opponents, your teammates, and just be better than your yesterday self.
Yeah. What is some of your favorite forms of homework that you like to give? Particularly, what are the books that you recommend reading?
Okay, yes, so many books, so many good books. My favorite book is Mind Gym. That is my favorite book. It's something that I have read throughout my throughout my athletic life. I read it in high school and it had a different meaning than I read it in college. And it took on a whole nother meaning. And I've read it post college and I'm able to just continually find nuggets of information in that book. And it just helps you look in the mirror, do some self reflection, and it applies to anyone who's looking to maximize that mindset and be a better you. I tell a lot of athletes that at the end of the day, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could, or I really poured into me and I got better today. Even if it's just 1% better, even if you had an extreme failure, maybe you had a big mistake, if you're able to learn something from that, okay, we got better.
Yeah. Yeah. What's an example of, like, in addition to book, what's an activity or exercise you like to give people that they can really kind of stick to that shows you progress and growth?
I would say one activity that comes to mind is it's so simple. It's just setting goals and finding your identity. Who are you? As athletes, we identify ourselves as, okay, we're really hard workers and I'm a basketball player or I'm a soccer player, and we put ourselves in a box. I think that's just society. Everyone's in a box, and we can get so consumed by who I am and what I'm doing and this is me, and if it doesn't go to plan, it just crumbles. Our identity completely falls because we don't know who we are anymore. Instead of defining ourselves by the qualities and characteristics that make you a great athlete, a great person, a friend, XYZ. And so I love talking to athletes about that, of write down like 10 things that make you a great athlete, and then write down 10 things that have nothing to do with your sport that make you a great person, human. And it can be eye-opening when an athlete's like, I don't know. I don't know what I am.
Yeah.
And so it's diving deeper because eventually that sport will end. And I'm all about setting goals. How can we get to where we want to go? We have our visions and our dreams, and that's awesome. But at the base of it is we need to know who we are so
Yeah.
that when things don't go our way, when we lose the game winning shot, we still know, okay, well, this is who I am, this is my identity, and I'm going to be the same person tomorrow.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not so soul crushing that you can't like function the next day. You're like, this is just something that happened, but it's not gonna ruin my whole life that I missed the game, the game winning point.
Yeah, it's essentially just recentering ourselves. And I would like to think a lot of people have or are striving or could use that ability to just recenter. If a work day is really hectic or something big happened or maybe a personal life or academics, it's being able to recenter ourselves and say, okay, this is what happened. Like, what are the facts? And then how can I move forward? And just continue.
Right.
Yeah, I imagine too, like I imagine as parents, this must be difficult to think about because sometimes like this is an identifying thing as a kid, right? Like this might be the first time their kids expressing competitive nature, or this might be the first time they're expressing like deep sorrow or doubt about anything. So like as a parent, if I'm wondering like, should my kid have mindset performance coaching for their sport, or is my kid just being a kid? Like, is my kid just being a moody 16-year-old,
Yeah.
or does my kid actually have something in them that if I gave them a little more support, outside support on this could actually grow them? Like how do those conversations with parents look like to you?
Yeah. For parents see so much. You're seeing everything in the morning, at night. For parents, I say be the anchor. Athletes are gonna ride the waves. And it's easy to go high, we're feeling so good, and low, we're feeling really low. And as parents, it's easy to ride those highs and lows too. And so parents, be the anchor, be the steady eddy, something that they can continue to go back to. And I tell parents, don't try and fix everything. They're already analyzing in their head. They're having coaches analyze what's going on, how can I be better? Be that listening ear first. Listen first and hear them out. What are they saying? What are they feeling? And I would also say, Mandi, is at any age, middle school, high school, collegiate, we can always talk about mindset. And it just is a little different of a conversation from a freshman in high school to a college player. So our freshmen in high school, we're just talking about how are we talking to ourselves in our head? What is our self-talk? Are we telling ourselves, oh, I'm really bad. I'm just not good at this. And we can just work on the language of how we talk to ourselves. And so it just depends on the athlete, but there's always room for that conversation. And then we just continue to build. It's just building blocks. We continue to build off of that. And then different circumstances bring up different things that we can talk about and grow from. And so I, as a resource, I'm another voice for the athletes besides parents. Athletes sometimes don't want to listen to mom and dad. Oh my gosh, I was
No.
that way. I was that way. I now I'm like, I'm sorry, you were right.
Yeah.
But
I bet.
it's just another voice, another listening ear, to supplement success in that athlete at whatever stage they're at.
Okay.
It's awesome. Hi, friends. Guess what? Did you know that when you click subscribe, you just hit it? It's such a fast little tip. Tap, tap, tap. You hit subscribe for our podcast, either on YouTube or on the platform that you're listening on. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. I know a lot of times when we think subscribe, it costs something, but it doesn't. And it helps us so much because when you subscribe, we show up in more people's feeds. And when we show up in more people's feeds, we get to help more people have greater and better adventures in business. So if you can hit subscribe on the platform that you're watching or on YouTube, that will help us, but it also helps so many more people. The other fun thing is that when you hit subscribe, then our next episode automatically shows up in your feed and you don't have to search for us anymore. So, can you do us a solid? Hit subscribe and join our Adventures in Business movement. Thank you.
We've come to the point in the show where it's time to flip the script. So we let you ask both myself and Mandi any question you like. So nothing is off limits. What is the question you want to ask, and who do you want to ask it to first?
Okay. We'll go Amani first.
Okay.
In your career field, what's
Yes.
a risk you took that felt uncomfortable at the time, but ended up being worthwhile and paying off?
Ooh.
I would say, I would probably say writing my second book, extremely uncomfortable, unsure, and it's paid off in spades and continues to pay off. But that was probably the most uncomfortable because that was hard.
Mhm.
That was hard. So
What,
that's how I say that. Go ahead.
what was hard about, like, what was one component that you think back and say, wow, that pushed me?
Just finishing, overcoming maybe imposter syndrome, where I was like, who am I to write this book on R&B groups when there's numerous, hundreds more people that are more knowledgeable about it, but no one's writing it.
Hmm.
So that was kind of the biggest hurdle to get past at first.
Yeah. How'd you get through it?
Just I acknowledged it and just kind of started writing and said, my perspective will be my perspective.
Yeah.
I bring a unique element of the education, being a DJ, and no one has written it, so might as well start.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
Might
to
as well
lose.
start.
Might
And
as
you did.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mandi, I'm going to ask you the same question. What's a risk
Okay.
you took that felt uncomfortable but was worthwhile?
This is personal that reverted to professional eventually. So I have always been extremely career driven my whole life. And I let my personal relationships fall to the side, whether that was my family or my friends or boyfriends. Like, I was a bad girlfriend for so many years, just not like a bad person, but I was just unattentive, because work was so much more important and I had to get on the road or I had one more proposal to do or whatever that was. And then when I met my husband now, I met my boyfriend, Scooter, 16 years ago. It was the first relationship that I had that I actually took the risk that I'm like, I'm going to make love the priority, which meant I wasn't as present at work. I wasn't like the rock star at work I always had been. I wasn't like giving all my time to work. I wasn't available like a lot of other people, but also other people, it was their time to do that too. Like by me invading that space, I was taking space away from emerging leaders that I probably should have gotten out of their way years prior, And so I made love first and I took this huge risk of like, maybe being at 50% at my job instead of, being 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being the best thing I could ever do for my career because I became more empathetic. I became like I cared less about work because I had such a big life outside of work that I actually became more successful in work because I cared deeply about a lot of things instead of just like being so single focused. I was like a lot more empathetic and a lot more understanding. And when people were like, well, I can't do this because of my spouse or my kids, I'd be like, oh, I totally get it. Before that, I'd be like, well, you better figure that out. So I just became a better person professionally by taking the risk of making my heart number one.
Never heard you say that. Oh, thanks
Aw.
for sharing.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
It's nice.
Of course. Yeah.
Now,
You go, Amani. Go
nope,
for it.
because I have my final question, but you can go
Okay.
before me.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to know, like, you coach high school and college kids, right? And like everybody's communication modality is so different right now. Whether that's like, I don't know, Snapchat or text messages or not even, or I don't even know how people are communicating like under the age of like 21 right now. So how are you finding connecting with the different generations? Like, how are you finding, like, I got to connect with them and I've got to be effective? Like, what are you doing to manage all those different communication modalities?
Hmm. I think that being able to open myself up and being willing to know, okay, communicating with a high schooler is going to be different than communicating with their parent, is going to
Mm-hmm.
be different than communicating with a coach. And so being adaptable and open. And so I prioritize, or I'm continuing to work on that priority of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable for anyone. But
Yeah.
getting out there and just showing uh, what I can do and being able to communicate with different groups of people and showing the value and resource of what mental performance can do for a coach and his or her team, for a parent and their athlete, or for a
Yeah.
college athlete that's having this realization of, I'm getting in my own way, I need some assistance.
Yeah. So is that like, are you DMing on TikTok? Are you on Instagram? Are you like, do these students, like, do they even text message? Like, what is the actual communication?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, we communicate through, we have FaceTime calls. So with the
Mm-hmm.
athletes that I work with, we communicate through FaceTime once a
Mm-hmm.
week, 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes, and we're able to kind of be remote. So you can
Mm-hmm.
be wherever you're at, but we're connecting for 30 minutes and having a very valuable conversation. I tell my athletes, take some notes, write this down, and then they can take that with them throughout the week. And then I'm also a resource for these athletes through text message. Text
Mm-hmm.
me. I've had athletes text me before a game or after a game. Oh, I did so good on this. I used my reset. Woohoo! That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. I want to celebrate all the wins, but I also want to be there for the struggling moments of, I'm really nervous before my championship game. And I'm able to give them a couple, hey, remember what we talked about, or
Mm-hmm.
have fun, or you got this.
Mm-hmm.
Just instill a little bit of confidence that they already have in themselves.
Awesome.
Interesting. Now, if we were to go back to Ames, Iowa, graduation day, you've just walked off and you've just finished.
Hmm.
What advice would you give that version of Morgan compared to where you are now? Like based on everything you've learned so far?
Yes. I would say take risks and don't be afraid to fail forward. It's easier said than done, but utilize your resources around you, and failure is truly a part of growth and expansion. And the more you grow in the field that you're in, the more you're going to learn about yourself and develop amazing connections around you.
All
Yeah.
right. Love
You've
it.
given us so much time today. Time is obviously all of our greatest assets, and we're so grateful. How can we give back to you? How can we lift you up and contribute to you the way you've contributed to us this past hour?
Yes, I would say follow on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And then if you know parents of athletes that are finding their way and navigating through, maybe it's youth sports or high school, club ball, collegiate, there's so many levels of sports,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But parents of athletes and athletes themselves that are struggling or can use that level up, that edge, that mental tool to get them to their goals, get them to be the best that they can be and kind of get out of their way. I'd say send them to me. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it and
Awesome.
see where we can go from there.
And it's Winning Edge. Give us your handles on
Yep.
all the
It's
platforms
Winning Edge Coaching. Yep. So on all
everywhere.
those, Winning Edge Coaching.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool. Well, we're going to give you a round of applause. Thank you for appearing with us, and we look forward to watching you succeed. And thank you for sharing some good mindset lessons and practices. So, round of applause right here for Morgan.
Thank you, Morgan. It's so good to see you. We're
Yes.
so glad you're here. You're doing great work.
Yes, stay back in the green room momentarily. All right. Mandi, another great episode in the books. Thanks to Morgan for being a guest.
Yeah.
We encourage you to rate, review, and subscribe on the platform you're watching or listening on. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, tell a friend, and with that, we will see you next time for another episode of Adventures in Business Live.
Bye.
Peace out, everyone.